Hi everyone, in the previous video of Crafter Pro, which was released yesterday, we had issues with the colors not updating and not working well, but I'm glad to say that we have a fix. So first of all, let me show you how to install Crafter Pro, because I've seen a few questions and a few people saying they can't install Crafter Pro. All right, so over here I have a demo site of Divi 5 and this is the latest version. So I'm going to go to Dashboard. And then I'm going to come over here to plugins and then click add plugin. Okay, so this is where we add the actual plugin. I'm just going to drag my window over here so you can see what's happening. So when you download the latest version, it's now on version 2.0.19, you double click this zipped file. Now, I know it's very tempting to go in and install this. It won't work. If you drag and drop it here or you try to add this, it won't work, okay? Because we have some files inside this. So I'm going to open up this zipped file like that. And now we have a folder, okay? Now this is the folder that we are interested in. I'm going to double click and you will see that you now have Crafter Pro plugin 2.0.19. This is the file that we are going to install and it's a zipped file. These two are JSON files, okay? I'm just going to take this over to the site so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go in and say upload plugin. And then I'm just going to bring this back over here. What we need is the Crafter Pro plugin 2.0.19. I'm going to drag and drop it here. And then click install now. And all I have to do now is to click on activate plugin. Right. So now that I've activated it, you're going to see a notice, or rather a menu over here on the left. So you want to click on this menu and this will give you Crafter Pro. Okay. So this is the UI. This is the interface. So what I need to do now is to install the other two files, and those other two files are the starter template and the design system. So you may be wondering, what is the actual design system for? In fact, let me just get this out of the way. The design system is very important because it allows us to design our websites faster. I'm going to come over here to pages, and I'm just going to say all pages. I'm just going to go in and choose the sample page here. Oh, in fact, let's go to the home page, edit with Divi. Okay, so when I say edit with Divi, when I start adding elements in here like that, so let's say I want to start off with a bit of text like that. And then after the text, I'm going to add, let's say, a heading. So I'm just going to click on this plus button, and then I'm going to say heading. And then after the heading, I'm going to add a paragraph text. So again, I'm going to search for text. Right. So the reason why the design system is very important is it saves us from entering all our values manually. For example, if I were to select this, I would need to come over here to design text and adjust my size here. So I'll eyeball it and say, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go with 22. And then over here, I am going to add a bit of a line height, maybe 1.5. And then I'm going to come over here to the heading. Now, do you see that I have to go in and manually do all this on every single module? Every single module, I'll have to do this. Well, this is not the way we are going to be designing, because this takes a lot of time. So what the design system does is it saves us a lot of time, and I'll show you how it does. I'm going to save this page. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the dashboard. So I'm going to come over here, go to the dashboard, and I'm going to come over here to Crafter Pro. Now, this is the file that has all the magic. This design system dot 2.0.11. This hasn't changed, okay? So don't worry. In fact, I'll find a solution to the numbering, but this hasn't changed, okay? The files that are in here have not changed. I'm going to drag and drop it here. Okay, so now that I've dropped it in there, I'm just going to do a quick preview just to see what is happening here. There we go. So now it's telling me I have 50 new color variables. I have font variables. I also have spacing variables, and I also have 259 presets. right? So these are the presets that are going to help us design our website faster. Now, if you look at the colors here, I already have my primary shades, secondary shades, grayscale, semantic colors, and so on. Okay. So all this is going to be added when I click on confirm and import. Right. So now that I've imported my design system, let's take a look and see. In fact, you can see here it is updated, as you can see. Now let's take a look and see what we can do now on our page. I'm going to come over here, all pages, and I'm going to go back to that home page, which I had selected, and I'm going to say edit with Divi. Excellent. Now already you can see my heading here has already changed because I imported the heading style. Now, if I come over here to the variables, you'll notice that on the colors, this has populated. I have so many colors now added in here. You see that? All these colors. So with all these colors now added, and in fact, yesterday when things didn't work out, it was because if we tried to change our primary color, things were not updating. But I'll show you in a moment that things are now updating. So I'm going to go ahead now and say save. Okay, although I didn't do anything on there. Okay, so if we need to style this now, I don't need to go in and add my values manually. I just have to select my heading here. And then over here on the top, I'm going to say, you know what? I want this as a label. My heading here, I can say I want this as display small. For my paragraph text here, I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to say I want this as K-body text. Okay. Now, do you see that everything now has really transformed super fast? Next, I'm going to add a group. So I'm going to select this, and in that group, I'm going to add 2 buttons. Okay. So where is my button? There we go. Now, did you see my buttons? They come in and they're already styled. They have colors because there's already a design system. If you didn't have this design system, you would have to go in and manually fix all this. Okay, so I've selected my group, and then over here now, I'm going to go to my layouts, and then I'm going to change the direction so they are side by side. And while I'm here, I'm going to select the group as well, reduce the gap, and again, all these sizes are from my design system. So I'm going to go in and say medium. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is to adjust my spacing around this background, or around this section rather. I'm going to click here on section settings, and again, if I come over here to the top, I have my sizes. I can go with extra large. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to come over here and add a new section. I'm just going to add 3 items in the section, and these are going to be blurbs. So I'm going to select my blurb here. And again, as you look at this blurb, we would need to go in and do a lot of customizations to make sure that it looks nice. But because we have a design system, it is easy for me to just select this, come over here to the top, and then I'm going to say K blurb. Just like that. And it is a nice little style here. I'm going to duplicate this twice, drag this over, drag the other one over. And then what I'm going to do next is to go in and add a color, because right now it's grayscale. Now, before I do that as well, I'm just going to come over here to my section settings, and then I'm going to come over here to my background and then pick a color. So the color, I'm going to get it through here. And I'm going to choose a light blue. Okay, so let's go with this. Okay. Next, I'm now going to come over here, and I want my design to be consistent. So I am going to go into my background, and then I'm going to choose primary 100. In fact, I could even go primary 200 if I wanted to. Let's have a look. Okay, so I've got primary 200. Now, do you see that these colors here are working really well because they are shades of each other, right? So this is what makes designing with a design system much, much easier. So what I'm going to do next now is to show you how, if I wanted to rebrand this, it can rebrand very, very fast. If I come over here to my colors, all I have to do is to find my primary color, which is all the way down here, and here it is. If I select my primary color, and I change this primary color. So let me play with the sliders. Do you see? As I'm moving my sliders, the colors are changing. Do you see that? Because these shades here are working together and my primary colors here are also working. So this is where we can see that our colors are working fine. And this is something that was not working in the previous version. Okay, I'm going to hit apply and then get out of here. Now let's say I want this button here to be a secondary color. Usually that's what we would do because it is a call to action. And then this one here, I'm going to set this to a muted or natural. There we go. So now I have my buttons, and I can also do fancy things like, let's say I want to reduce the size of my row. I can come over here and say content width, or I can say wide text width. Of course, you don't want to do that, but I can say content width, right? So as you can see, it is very, very easy to go in and start making changes to this. There's a lot that we can go in and do. I mean, even if I, for example, choose, even other modules. So for example, let's say I go with, okay, how about email opt-in? Okay, you can see it comes with our branding colors. And if I come over here to the top, in fact, let me select it first. I have different versions that are already created for us. So you can see this is our primary, and you can see the design here looks really nice. I can change that to a darker version, but the dark version works if you have a dark background. I have a light. So you can see there it's really nice and light. Okay. Now, if I had a darker background, I would come over here, and now I'm just going to do a quick one. I'm going to say background dark. Now I can see here that things are not looking great contrast wise. I can select this. Now using my design system, all I have to do is to come over here to design, and then under heading text, I'm just going to say heading light. For the text here, I'm going to go in and say text light. And then for my email opt-in, I can select it. And then I'm going to choose the opt-in dark. And you see that it blends with the background color that we've chosen here. So all these modules are carefully designed. Now, I want to show you something really interesting. You see, when it comes to presets, these presets are the way forward when it comes to designing websites with Divi 5 moving forward. The workflow that we used to use with Divi 4 is no longer going to work. It's not going to work at all. So I'm actually working on a new version. And this new version has a UI update. In fact, let me compare them side by side so you can see. I'm going to save this. Basically, the functionality is still the same, but the UI is different because I really want to take Crafter Pro to the next level. So this is the UI of the current version of Crafter Pro. And this is the beta version that I'm working on. You can see the icons here have been added, right? And the buttons here all have icons. If I come over here to export, there's more features here. You can see if we need to export Crafter Pro, and I just want to export colors only so I can share with my design team, I can just do that by just selecting the colors. And over here is just the colors that get selected. And then on the fonts here, you can see they're not selected. On the spacing variables, nothing is selected, right? But I can change this. I can say variables only, or I can say presets only. And you can see the colors here are gone because I've selected presets only. So over here, this is where if I check my module presets, grouped presets, spacing presets. Oh, okay. There's no presets here. I forgot. We can see here there's no presets. So that's why it's not selected. But anyway, we will be able to select everything here. And once I select everything, you can see even on the spacing here, things are selected. And I don't have any modules here. So that's why it's like that. But as you can see, I have a new UI on the rollback here. Again, if I click on rollback, it has a nice, pop-up here. It tells us what is happening, and then I can click on rollback, or I can click on cancel. There is also these little question marks if you want to know what this feature does. This is also something that's new in the version that I'm working on. We also have the import changelog, the reset as well. If I click here, it tells me what is going to happen, and then I can go ahead and delete or cancel, right? In the system, there's also an update over here. Let's say I'm having problems with Crafter Pro. You can actually go in and copy the diagnosis here, and you can send this over to me, and I can have a look at the code or try and find out what the issue or how the issue can be resolved. So these are the features that are coming in the near future. And I am super excited because this is going to make things easier for us as we design our websites with Divi 5. And there's no way around this. These presets, they're here to stay. And that is the only way we can design websites with Divi 5. And it's not exclusive to Divi 5. I mean, if we take a look, we will see that these approaches are taken by other page builders as well, but it's just a bit of a learning curve. But Crafter Pro is going to make things very, very easy, and there's going to be a lot of support coming with it. And this latest version that I'm working on, that I'm talking about, it's going to be under license. So if you want a lifetime membership or a lifetime license to Crafter Pro, you might as well get it right now, super fast, because if you delay, it's going to be on a license yearly renewal, and there'll also be like limitations to how many sites you can use SiteKrafter on. So anyway, that's my quick update. If you have any issues, please let me know in the comments, and then I'll do my best to respond to them as quickly as I can. In fact, I've dedicated the whole week, and this week and next week, I haven't been sleeping, making sure that everything is working fine. And once everything is okay, the UI is confirmed and everything, I'll start doing a lot of videos and live workshops so everyone can be up to speed, and we can all enjoy the new way of designing with Divi 5. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.